It was literally AI everywhere.
A lot of companies were exhibiting just AI related products. AI is really going to take over. You can see deep penetration of AI getting into healthcare.
It is a platform, AI platform, which lets a lot of health enterprises, healthcare service providers add AI to their products with ease.
You have so many companies exhibiting there, and then you don't know where to focus, what to do, and all that.
One product that we saw a lot of is the ambient listening use case.
Now that you have been able to diagnose, can you now also decide on the treatment plan? There was a lot of confidence that was getting exhibited during those discussions that this is the future.
AI is here to stay. It can actually help improve the productivity of a lot of healthcare professionals.
AI is becoming more and more reliable and trustworthy, and that's what I believe is a real key takeaway for us.
Hello everyone and welcome to our special post-HIMSS 2024 podcast. I'm your host Akash Putwani, and in today's episode we are going to dive into the insights and highlights from this year's premier healthcare technology conference. Joining us are the two seasoned pros who have just returned from HIMSS 2024. First is Mr. Varun Srinivas, the co-founder and head of GenAI at Coditas. And then we have Mr. Bhupesh Nadkarni. He heads the healthcare business unit at Coditas. They are here to share their experiences, insights, and a lot of the buzz that happened at HIMSS 2024. So let's get the ball rolling and talk about what's new, what's hot, and what's next at the healthcare tech landscape. Hi Varun. Hi Bhupesh.
Hey Akash, good morning.
Thank you for being with us here today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So Varun, I would like you to tell us about your experiences, and I would like you both to dissect your experiences about everything happened at HIMSS and whatever you guys have witnessed at HIMSS.
Cool. So this was my first time at HIMSS. I had only heard about it, and the first thing that really blew me away was the massive scale at which this happens. And Bhupesh, who has been visiting HIMSS multiple times, told me it used to be bigger than this, right? But the first thing that really hit me was the scale at which it happens, right? It was really huge, and the other one not so surprising thing was the focus on AI this time. Like it was literally AI everywhere. Wherever we saw, whatever booth we went to, everyone was trying to do AI in some way or the other, right? And I got to learn a lot about healthcare, about US healthcare. I have not been working in US healthcare for so long, not as long as Bhupesh. So I got to learn a lot about US healthcare, how things work. A lot of the keywords that people talk about, I knew about a lot of them, but then I got a chance to dive deep into a lot of those things, like interoperability was one popular theme, of course. And what Bhupesh told me is it's a theme almost every year. And then AI, although was not part of the official theme, but ultimately it ended up being the show stealer. There was AI everywhere, right? As in, I'm sorry I said AI so many times, but that's what it was, right? Like it was just AI everywhere. That was the theme of the conference. Yeah, that was good.
Great, Varun. So Bhupesh, how was your experience? Like, what was the atmosphere like among the diverse range of companies there? What was your experience?
First of all, thanks for having me on this show, Akash. Uh, as Varun mentioned, I've been to HIMSS several times before, but uh, as always, it keeps surprising me. The environment was as vibrant as ever. Uh, a lot of new companies have come, and as Varun mentioned, AI was everywhere, right? Everybody was talking about AI. But if I have to put uh, the themes in the perspective in the large scale, AI was one of them. Then cybersecurity. There were certain incidences, and we're going to talk about that. Had happened just before the HIMSS event. So cybersecurity was talked in big way, and then of course the interoperability. There were new things happening on the interoperability space. But then, as Varun mentioned, AI was everywhere, and a lot of companies were exhibiting just AI related products. That was really, really amazing to see. So I think we had done one podcast right before HIMSS, and we are talking about the same, whether AI is going to take over. It looks like we are reaching that stage when AI is really going to take over, and we can see deep penetration of AI getting into healthcare.
Sounds like a lot of AI at HIMSS.
It's AI everywhere.
So, in these kind of events, Varun, networking is like very critical. So we would like to know, how did you navigate these opportunities and what all companies you connected with?
Sure. So networking was kind of a twofold thing for us here, right? And this is largely applicable for almost any event that we generally attend. But specifically here, one is, we had a booth, so that kind of helped a lot. And we got a lot of traffic on our booth, and we were able to talk to a lot of people about what they are doing and about what we are doing and about how we can help them. That was one. And second was, we actually HIMSS hosts a couple of events, or certain companies who attend HIMSS, they themselves host some mixers or some kind of events. So those events also helped us a lot in networking. We connected with a lot of people who are building certain products. Some companies doing some things in stealth mode. They are building something for AI and healthcare, and they weren't really open to disclose it. There were a few who had something in production. They had people using it. So we discussed various challenges that they had, and how they were able to get it into production. Especially when it comes to AI, there is, these aspects of security, like Bhupesh mentioned, and how to ensure that whatever the AI says is correct, it doesn't hallucinate and things like that, right? So we discussed a lot of those things, and because the theme was AI, and I live and breathe AI now, it was very easy for me to network, right? So that was one. And
So just to add to that, Akash, we also attended a few sessions, and
yes,
at HIMSS, as you know, there are a lot of educational sessions happening throughout, and where you get to meet a lot of people, a lot of queries get answered, and you get to learn a lot out of that. In addition to that, a lot of exhibitors who have large booths, they conduct sessions at their
at
booths
the
itself.
booths.
So we get to attend and learn out of those sessions as well. So we attended a lot of those sessions. And then, of course, we went around meeting a lot of people at their particular booths. We had got some invites, and we just went impromptu into some of the booths, met a lot of people, tried to learn what they are doing. And one thing that we could see is people were very eager to show us what they're doing, how they're solving these challenges, and it really helped us. It was very thought provoking for us as well, in terms of what we can do in addition to what we're already doing, and how we can improve our services. So that was an exhilarating experience, I would say.
That's quite insightful, Bhupesh. So you just mentioned we had a booth there. So when it comes to welcoming professionals at a booth, did you guys had any strategy as to how to spark those initial conversations? Like, did you have any icebreakers or any initial sentences that you had prepared?
So our booth was, wherever we had our booth, we had a couple of other booths, and together all of us had actually pooled to get some kind of a goodie to give away, right? So we had cookies, we had ice creams, we had donuts,
Ice cream for icebreaker.
yeah, we used ice creams as icebreakers, right? So that kind of had a lot of people stopping by, and then when they were stopping by, we were able to very easily talk to them, ask them how the conference is going on for them, and then from there we could strike up a conversation. And because everyone was there for the conference, right, for the meetups, right? So we were able to talk to them about, some people had booths, some people who came there had their own booths, so we were able to talk to them about what they are doing. Some people were just attendees who came there, and we were able to talk to them about their experiences at other booths with other companies, their thoughts about comparing two similar products that they saw at HIMSS. And then we were also able to see if we could help them with any of our services as well. So yeah, that's how we did it.
So I think Varun has covered most, what we had planned for. But just to add a few points to that, we had, before going, we had planned out a lot of things. We'll do this way, we'll do that way, and then, when we reached there and when we saw how things were flowing, we just went by the flow, right? We had we had we had written to a lot of people, inviting them to a booth, and those were the people who were most important for us. They did visit, and we had prepared, we had made brochures available for them, we had presentations created for them, and then we had a big screen showcasing all the capabilities of Coditas going on. So it helped us present them, in a very nice way. Of course, our partners had arranged for made sitting arrangements, And then were also meeting rooms available. So some of the customers who had wanted a longer conversations with us, we took them to the meeting rooms and had good meetings with them as well.
That's great, Bhupesh. Also, Bhupesh mentioned we had Therix. He just mentioned Therix. So we had launched two of our amazing products. One is Therix and one is Healthcare Cloud Transformation AWS Kits. So Varun, I would like to ask you, what is Therix and how does it help transforming healthcare?
Okay, so Therix is a product that we have built within Coditas, and it is a platform, AI platform, which lets a lot of health enterprises, healthcare service providers add AI to their products with ease and get AI to production really, really fast. Or they can also build their own AI product offerings on top of Therix. So whenever people think about integrating AI into their products, especially nowadays when AI is available as an API, a lot of people just make a call to OpenAI's ChatGPT or some other models, and then they just integrate it within their app. But in Therix, what we have actually done is we have actually made it a lot secure, a lot better, a lot faster, and a lot of the guardrails that are required for a typical healthcare application, whether AI or no AI, right, is already built in. Right. So for example, whenever you query a AI model about certain details, you have to ensure that you don't pass in PII data, patient, or your personal information about the patient or any PHI data should not be passed into the AI model. That's something that needs to be taken care of. There are various compliances, HIPAA, for example. So Therix ensures that any AI product you build today is going to be HIPAA compliant. Then there is a lot of features that we've built that lets you do a lot of traceability. You can do user management, and you can do a lot of these typical enterprise app features, and add AI alongside with it, and manage AI alongside with it, and get it into production really, really fast. We have been able to build apps and deploy them into production for a few of our clients within a couple of weeks. So that is what Therix is in a nutshell.
Great. I think that explains our product Therix.ai. So, if you guys want a demo or have any queries related to Therix, you can directly reach out to Varun at varun.srinivas@coditas.com, or you can check out our product Therix at coditas.com website as well. So, Bhupesh, we launched one another product as well, which is Healthcare Cloud Transformation AWS Kits. That includes, I believe, IoT, patient portals, and image analysis solutions as well. So, can you tell our audience more about?
So let me try to build an analogy for this, right? So suppose if you go to a conference like HIMSS the first time, right, you get completely overwhelmed. You have so many companies exhibiting there, and then you don't know where to focus, what to do, and all that. Similar to that, you come to an AWS cloud environment. If you are new to that environment, you are likely to get overwhelmed because there are so many services, and AWS is keeps upgrading these services, adding new services to the portfolio. And so when somebody is trying to build new solutions, they find it overwhelming. And therefore, if there is somebody who is able to guide them and build certain components for them which are ready to use, that's what we are trying to achieve by building these AWS kits. So our partners, Ingram Micro and AWS, by the way, we are an AWS advanced partners, and we together have found out over the years that a lot of people hesitate to come to this cloud platform because of the complexities involved. And therefore, we decided in partnership with Ingram and AWS to launch these kits. These kits are nothing but a set of, we take the best practices that have been followed over the years. We use the right set of tools that are available within the AWS ecosystem, and then we build certain, I would say, accelerators that would help any company to launch their products much, much faster. So just like Therix is built specifically for AI, these AWS kits are very specific using the AWS ecosystem and healthcare related use cases.
Great, cool. So, for you guys, if you want to know more about our healthcare transformation kits and how it can help you achieve your business goals, you can reach out to Bhupesh at bhupesh.nadkarni@coditas.com. So Bhupesh and Varun, uh, at HIMSS event, you might have come across a lot of technologies which could be disruptive or can create trends in the healthcare ecosystem. So let's talk a little bit about it. What kind of technologies or trends do you think could disrupt the healthcare ecosystem or the landscape? We can start with you, Varun.
So again, it is mainly still AI. I might be biased towards AI, but that is what it was, and that was the theme. So more than saying technologies, Akash, I think it would be good if we call them as use cases built using AI and other healthcare services that are there, or healthcare services that are offered. Right. For example, one product that we saw a lot of is the ambient listening use case, wherein I'm a patient, you're a doctor, I visit your clinic. There is you have an app on your phone, iPad, your laptop, or you have some other device, you have some mic setup, whatever it is. There is a AI that listens to our conversations, and based on the conversations that it listens to, it actually creates an entire note based on various standards that are there in US healthcare right now. It creates your entire note. It maps out your diagnosis. It maps out your symptoms. It also tries to predict diagnosis in some of the apps that we saw. But largely, they use AI to do this, wherein the AI is basically acting as a co-pilot for the doctor. And this is a use case that Bhupesh and I discussed in our podcast that we did before HIMSS, wherein we thought that this is something that will be awesome, and if someone builds it, it will be great. And we saw at least six of those, I think,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? At HIMSS, there were many who were doing the same. The use case was the same. The way they were solving it, the features they were giving it were slightly here and there, but largely the problem they were solving was exactly this. Right. So this was one of the most
Yeah.
popular use
So,
cases,
so
and
just to add to that, I think uh, the ambient listening use case that Varun mentioned. Now that is about, if you have been following healthcare for a while, uh, the the use case without minus the AI was always there, which is listening to a doctor's notes and then transcribing those notes. Right? There are many software which were there. In fact, Microsoft had acquired one such company and tried to build AI on top of that. So what happened now is that the transcription part, which used to be just about converting this voice into a transcribed note, with AI, now they are able to summarize this in a much better way, and tying that to the different sections of the note, as Varun mentioned, right? So that is the intelligence that people have tried to build now. And then we attended some sessions where people were now trying to take it to the next level. Now that you're summarized, can you uh, do diagnosis based on this, right?
Yep.
So they are like something which the provider used to do. And of course, the provider is always there in the whole set of things. Yeah. Even for the summary of notes, the provider has to make decision. But then now a whole lot of focus is shifting on AI, trying to help administratively help the doctor in making certain predictions about in diagnosis. And then they said, now that you have been able to diagnose, can you now also decide on the treatment plan, right? So those were use cases that were getting exhibited, not maybe on the shop floor, but even some of the conferences. And that gave us, and there was a lot of confidence that was getting exhibited during those discussions, that this is the future, right? The doctor will be enabled by AI or supported by AI, and it's not like AI is there to replace them, but it's just there to support doctors in becoming more productive, more efficient, more accurate in terms of their ability to serve the patients.
Yeah, and this was just doctors, right? There were a lot of other use cases where uh, people had built co-pilots or some other AI enabled tools to support other healthcare providers as well. Like doctors are the people we think of primarily when you look at healthcare, right? But for example, someone has to summarize, or someone has to go through a 40 pages medical report, for example, right? That is, of course, a challenge for someone. And if someone has to go through 100 such records every day to make a decision, that is something that's challenging, right? So there were AI tools that were summarizing a lot of these identifying the key points and the keywords within these documents, and trying to ultimately present a better picture to the end user, so that they are actually able to understand, summarize, and take an action based on whatever details they gather there. So this actually helps them become more productive during the day.
Great. So AI seems to be the hot topic in healthcare.
Yeah, it was.
So apart from AI, there were, of course, in the interoperability area, there were certain innovations or the new things that they were talking about. For example, using Fire as a standard to replace or complement what is being currently done in the EDI workspace. Like one of the use case that Varun was mentioning, it has to do something with called prior authorization. So prior authorization is an area where a whole lot of time of is getting wasted in making the decisions. So during this time, if AI was used, it actually helps them speed up those decisions. That's what Varun mentioned.
Yep.
But now what they're also trying to do is that instead of using the 278 standard, which is the EDI standard for sending out prior authorization requests, can it be complemented with a FIRE standard to send out this information? So that was being talked about, and somebody said that we reduce the time to make the decision from 15 days to 30 seconds. So that was one of the innovations that people were talking. Also, fire standards being used to share or improvise sharing quality measures with the payers was one of the use case that was discussed. So these, I won't say innovations, but these were, I would say, a progressive way of looking at the interoperability aspect of the whole thing.
So Bhupesh, you mentioned cybersecurity in the initial conversation. Would you like to share more details about cybersecurity to us?
So, Varun and Akash, if you remember, just a few weeks, a few days prior to the HIMSS event, there was a major cyber attack on Change Healthcare, one of the major clearinghouse companies, and you won't believe that 94% of the hospitals in the US were impacted by this attack, and there were revenue losses to the tune of millions of dollars per day. And cybersecurity had, it cast a shadow over HIMSS as well. Um, a large reason for having lesser attendance at teams is attributed to cyber security attackers. So that was definitely a topic that was discussed with lot of interest, and uh, it was there, not of course not like AI, but it was discussed much thing. How we could improve cyber security, not just in the existing context of the infrastructure and the network, but even in the context of the artificial intelligence. So there were people talking about, if what if cybersecurity, then AI is so new to the whole ecosystem, and if cybersecurity attacks happen through the AI ecosystem, how we are going to handle those. So there were a lot of discussions happening around the cybersecurity aspects, and we could attend a few sessions where we learned that cybersecurity is definitely going to be an important topic in the coming HIMSS sessions as well.
Great. This is insightful, Bhupesh. And coming to healthcare, where there is healthcare, there are regulations. You will definitely agree to me on that. So for regulations, let's talk about it. So Bhupesh, starting with you, with new regulations coming in the healthcare landscape, how does these regulatory insights affect the healthcare companies?
So the body that has been entrusted with uh, formulating rules for AI or LLMs is ONC, Office of the National Coordinator for Healthcare, and also the HSS, which is another body in the US. So together, these bodies will decide on formulating rules for AI, which is kind of omnipresent now. The challenge with government organizations is that they take time to formulate these rules, and technology is moving fast, and regulatories are taking time to catch up, and therefore a lot of private organizations have come forward. So one of the new things that happened at HIMSS was Microsoft, along with a lot of health systems, um, they came with a organization called Train, uh, trustworthy and responsible AI in healthcare. So Train is an organization. Before that, there was another organization formed called as CHAI, or in Indian words, you can call it CHAI. So it's a coalition or coordination of healthcare in AI. So these organizations are formed by private bodies along with the technology vendors. They come out with best practices to be used in AI. They share amongst them, anything that has to do with AI, the tools that are required, the pathways that need to be done. So these organizations do a lot of experimentation and then give back to the industry in terms of this. And these, whatever the learnings and the findings that come out of these organizations, they then get used by government organizations in formulating the regulations. So we saw a lot of activities happening on the sidelines of HIMSS in terms of compliance, specifically in relation to AI.
So Varun, I would like to ask you, HIMSS event uh, is considered as a platform for learning as well. People learn a lot of things about technologies, maybe companies, the market itself. So what were your key takeaways from the event?
Key takeaways. Awesome. So again, don't get me wrong, but one the major takeaway that I had was AI, right? So AI is here to stay. When generative AI started booming, a lot of people said, this could go the Bitcoin way, the Web3 way, and it's just a fad and it will go away. A lot of people still believe that until 6 months ago, but now we got a validation that AI is here to stay. AI is here to solve a lot of the use cases. AI can solve a lot of the use cases in a really good way, and it can actually help improve the productivity of a lot of healthcare professionals, and can solve a lot of other problems as well. So that was the major takeaway. The other few takeaways were mostly on the healthcare services side. I think Bhupesh can cover that properly.
Sure, Varun. So I think it was good feel for us to see that our belief in investing in AI, which is we have done over the last 1 year or so, um, that is going to stay, right? The way Varun said, and we had predicted that a lot of healthcare use cases can be solved by generative AI, and that we saw that happening in real time, and we saw a lot of companies exhibiting those use cases, and so it kind of reaffirmed our beliefs that we need to continue investing in AI, and we'll continue investing in AI. A lot of focus during this HIMSS was focusing on solving the administrative use cases of healthcare, but we are pretty sure that and that was we believed that that was because it is it has low like regulatory requirements in terms of usage, and therefore people focused on that. But as and when the AI becomes trustworthy and reliable, people will start moving towards solving more of the clinical use cases, and that's for me is the key as far as key takeaway from HIMSS is that AI is becoming more and more reliable and trustworthy, and that's what is I believe is the real key takeaway for us.
Yeah, all the giants in tech and in healthcare are investing heavily in AI, right? Well, right. So
So AI seems to be the game changer
it
in
is,
healthcare.
and that is the only takeaway. Like, invest in AI. That is the only takeaway.
Amazing, amazing, Varun. So, Bhupesh, it's always interesting for me to hear personal stories, and I'm sure it's the case for our audience as well. So, were there any highlights for you, like any personal stories would you like to share, or any approaches particularly that impress you?
Sure. So one of the things that, or I would say a key thing that happens during HIMSS is to have personal bondings with a lot of people. And I recollect one or two things that happened during this HIMSS that I would like to share with you. One is where Varun and I had gone to a booth. I believe that's it again was related to AI and ambience. Ambient listening was the use case, and I believe the team was from Colombia. And then we were having this chat, and the CTO from the Colombian company was doing a demo, and he was trying to show us For whatever reason, the demo was not working well because they were trying to connect in live with the servers and something was not going on, and
The
uh,
Wi-Fi at
the
HIMSS was
Wi-Fi
horrible.
Wi-Fi was not great, and
Right.
so suddenly I look back and one of the person from the booth has come with a big cake and a candle over it, and I was thinking, am I the 100th visitor here? Am I getting treated? And then they said, it was the CTO's birthday, and they were trying to celebrate that birthday, and so we had great time celebrating birthday, and you know that is one thing that we'll remember, and I'm
Correct.
sure they will remember with us. We had good photos with them and
Right.
good conversations as well. So that is one thing. Second thing I remember was we were at this social event. Again, Varun and I and Gaurav also was there, and we were having our conversations with some of the people, and suddenly I see one of these American gentlemen standing in a corner having his drinks. Just went to him and asked him how was he, and we had some conversation. And suddenly he looks at my card and says, "Oh, are you from Pune?" And I have been to Pune several times, and I have been there. I used to go 4 years. My company was in Pune. And he started telling me all stories about Pune, and that was like, that is Pune was the city where we started bonding together, and these are the experiences that I believe, we learn and we build connections at HIMSS. That's one of the takeaways for me.
That's a great uh, personal story, Bhupesh. It was amazing. So Varun, Bhupesh, um, there were a lot of learnings at HIMSS. You shared a lot of experiences and whatever buzz that has happened at HIMSS. Uh, for those who have never been to HIMSS or any such premier events, what advice would you like to give to those people? Like the tips for first timers?
Right, right. So me being a first timer this time, one thing like Bhupesh said, everything you prepare for goes for a toss there, and you have to go with the flow. We had a lot of demos prepared, a lot of things prepared, but when we went there, we realized it's a completely different game, right? So of course, it's a typical booth. You have a booth, you have people visiting, all that is there, but you need to be ready to go with the flow and adapt your strategies, adapt your demo, whatever it is, depending on what's happening there, right? That's definitely one tip that I have. And wear good shoes. It's a huge hall, you have to walk a lot, so wear good shoes as well, right? That's the second thing I would say.
Great, great. Bhupesh, would you like to add something to it?
I would like to say from my past experiences, one key thing for us is to plan well for this event. And the preparation for this event could start even 6 months prior to the event. So you have to reach out to a lot of people who probably will visit this and make sure you connect with them in advance. And those are the leads that you typically get are what we call as quality leads. So a lot of people that we had reached out in advance came to our booth, met up with us, and had interesting conversations. So of course, a good time to meet up with the customers and anybody that you have, continue building the bonds with them with whom you have met in the past. So make sure you prepare well in advance. And of course, there are a lot of social events happening, and there was one day where we could hop between many social events, right? One
Yes,
event to
yes.
another. So although it's very tiring at the end of the day, but you still get to meet a lot of people, and every connect that you get can is a possible business opportunity. So make sure that you visit a lot of events and prepare well before you go.
Great, great, Bhupesh. Thank you for sharing your advice. And as we wrap up, I have a last question for you. You're working for generative AI and AI specifically. You're working for healthcare. Uh, can you tell our audience how Coditas supports the healthcare companies or it impacts the healthcare landscape?
Sure, sure. So we have been focused on healthcare for quite some time now. Healthcare is, of course, not the only thing we do, but a huge chunk of our revenue comes from healthcare right now. And we have been working on a lot of different projects. We have, like we discussed, we have a lot of starter kits for healthcare, Like if you are planning to start something new in healthcare, if you want to cater to the US healthcare market, we have a lot of starter kits, a lot of connectors with various EHRs, all of that ready and available to deploy for whatever use case that you are building for, along with Therix, our accelerator, our our platform for AI as well is completely ready and available for us to use to help you scale your business and start your business in US healthcare tech. Right. If you want to, I think Bhupesh can cover more focus on healthcare itself.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Akash, as you know, Coditas' strength has always been technology and process, right? So those were always there. Now, with healthcare being the focus, now we are in a position to offer, uh, to our customers, prospective customers, that very focused attention in terms of the domain that is needed. What we do is that now we go about solving the problems, not just technology problems, but solving their business problems as well. So that is the core difference now, that we are able to identify what use cases, what challenges they are facing, and then be able to provide the solutions. And that was one of the key takeaways for us at the HIMSS, where Varun and I realized that we need to ask them what problems they face.
Correct.
And then they come out and tell you you can go with a predefined set of solutions, but those solutions are just to prove that you are capable of something. But what's important is to try and understand their problems and then be able to mold your solutions in line with what they're expecting, and that is the key for us to success.
Great, great. Thank you very much, Bhupesh. Thank you, Varun. And that brings us to the close of this insightful session. I'm sure it will help us a lot of people to learn, plan, and navigate their event participation. Not only their event participation, but in their businesses as well. If you are eager to learn more about Coditas solutions or have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and together we'll explore how we can innovate your healthcare solutions going forward. We'll see you soon. Stay tuned.